Okay, welcome everybody to how the body maintains homeostasis. Have you ever wondered why or why we sweat or shiver, why our heartbeat races or slows, or how our body regulates in temperature? I'm going to be using three parts of the body, the liver, the heart, and the brain, to show how human homeostasis is maintained. Homeo meaning constant, and stasis or stable meaning to remain the same or remaining stable. So in our bodies, how our bodies are going to be remaining constantly stable. So our first emphasis is on the liver. Our liver was made generally to help help convert glycogen, which is also known as glucose, to help regulate the body, and also by metabolizing proteins. So in these two ways, glycogen is made into glucose, which in turn tells the pancreas to produce insulin, which then helps the body to maintain its balance. In metabolizing proteins, there are two certain types of proteins called the prothrombin and the fibrogen proteins, which help the blood to coagulate. So basically means that when you get a paper cut, you won't die out bleeding because of this two proteins that help to coagulate. That's why when you get cut and you feel a lot of blood, it gets sticky. That's the coagulating from the two proteins. The heart is able to sensing the changes in the blood pressure, causing signals to then run to the brain or send signals to the brain, telling the heart how to respond. So in an example, I asked Craig Davis, to be my demonstration. Before we started, Craig, what is your heart rate?
61.
61 beats per minute. So we're going to have Craig run in place for about 30 seconds. So go ahead. And while he's running, what he's doing is, as he's breathing and he's taking in the oxygen, his heart is beating, and it's going to start to beat faster. And what happens is, when it starts to beat faster, it's pumping blood throughout all the networks called arteries in your blood, and veins called your cardiovascular system. That in 10, can you please take your blood test? Thank you. And in this, it helps the body to regulate in oxygen and blood flow. So, in turn, the heart pumps so that oxygen is sent throughout your whole body, even through the kidney as well, which is an oxygen sensor. So as I was talking about earlier, the brain, okay, as he was running, oxygen was going through his brain, and it also maintained his temperature in his body. And as he was going, as we don't move or we keep still, our body temperature is at 98.6 degrees. Now it would have gotten up to about 102 because of his running in place. And Craig, what was your
88?
88 beats per minute. So there, in the rise in his pulse, it triggered the temperature of the body to rise a little, which helps the receptors in his skin to send impulses to the sweat glands, even though, because he's a very energetic guy and he does work out, it didn't cause him to sweat or any. But in that case, the here, the hypothalamus is what helps to regulate the heat and the temperature in your body. So in this, with the thalamus, helps it to make it a balance 98.6 degrees in your body. If at any time your body were to rise in temperature to an extreme point about 203, your brain wouldn't be able to handle it. So that's why we have fevers and yeah. And if the body temperature were to go down in that, the reason why we shiver is our body muscles tend to get cold. As we are in the AC, it does get a little cold, but in it, it helps our skin, has little small muscles in it called, here, what it does is it'll help trap the air in our skin to keep us from getting too cold. So what it'll do is it'll help generate the heat. Okay? So, in conclusion, our bodies were made in a way so that it would be described as basically awe-inspiring awesome. But the inability to maintain our homeostasis in our bodies would actually lead to disease and death. Thank you.
So, Craig.
Thank you, Gigi.
Hi.
And I get some of this.